Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Matt.
I'm Mandy.
And this is another episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us again as we dip back into the movies that shaped our childhood. And today, Mandy, what are we talking about?
Today we are talking about the natural disaster classic, the 1996 movie Twister.
All right. And of course, we always ask everyone listening in, if you've never had a reason to watch Twister, please make this the reason to do so. It's currently streaming on Netflix.
Yeah.
So if you want to join us along and have never seen the movie, go watch it now, and then you can come back and join us for the conversation. And you're back. All right. It was the greatest of all time, and now you're caught up to speed on what we're about to talk about.
Nice.
Of course, Mandy, you and I don't like to talk about these things alone. We try to bring someone in on this mess to see if we can get a third opinion. And today, we're very excited to have, all the way from the Detroit area, comedian Johanna Medranda is with us, everybody.
Yay.
Pause for applause. And good morning, guys. This is the first time we've done a morning podcast. So welcome.
Don't tell them it's the morning. I'm drinking beer for tradition.
Well, yeah, just for posterity's sake. You got to have continuity. So
yeah.
Welcome, Johanna. We always ask everyone who's... Oh, is there a little animal friend back there that we're seeing?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Nice.
That's Ruka.
Okay, it was either that or like the wall was melting. I could see just movement on the thing.
He did acid this morning when he woke up.
That's what I do every day I wake up on a Sunday morning. We always ask every guest how long it had been since you watched this movie before we made you watch it for the podcast.
More than 10 years, probably.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. That's been the case for most of this stuff. So, all right. Did you watch it like home rental, or did you watch it? Had you ever seen this one in the theater at all, or anything? Or
I don't think I saw it in the theater. No.
Okay. All right. And Mandy, how about you? How long has it been since you saw this movie?
Oh, not even a year.
Okay.
I watch it all the time. Nice. I actually saw it in the theater. Do you remember Sunset Theaters on M89? It only had one theater.
No.
And it was this little tiny theater on the strip downtown Plainwell. And this was the very last movie they were playing before they closed.
Wow.
So,
what a disaster.
Yeah, I know, right? And I think that I saw it more than once. I think I saw it there, and then I think I saw it again at like the 99-cent theater or whatever.
Okay. All right. So yeah,
because I thought it was badass.
This was a big one for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it was a big one for everybody because like you were in the middle of this, like it was like the scenes like where all that shit's falling on them. You hadn't really seen that before.
Yeah.
Like. And you just felt like, oh my gosh, like this is so real. Like I remember leaving the theater and walking downtown and being like, that was like the most amazing movie ever.
For sure. For sure. All right. And for
me,
me,
what about you? Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably been, probably 10 years since I've seen it. I did watch it a lot. I did watch it a lot when I was younger, but again, this was another one of those movies we had like VHS dubbed over from like a Cinemax type deal where we just had it on a blank tape with the word Twister written on the side. But yeah, we used to watch the hell out of this movie quite a bit. I was a big Bill Paxton fan.
And
that ass,
man. That ass shot when he's like picking up, they like show him and then they show this guy and everything. Yeah. I'm just like, even as a kid, I was like, that's nice ass. Like,
sure.
I liked it.
Everyone in this movie is somewhat famous, it seems. Like even the little
obscure.
Yeah, the little characters in the background, even on Carrie Elwes's team, all of like never talk, but all of those people have been in like several things. It's crazy.
Oh, totes, yeah, for sure. Yeah, love me some Carrie Elwes too. So hot.
Yeah. All right. So the next question is: was this movie like? Were you guys afraid of weather? Living in Michigan, we do get inclement weather quite often. Were you guys afraid of like tornadoes at all? Was this a tough movie to watch when you were a kid? You know, like, was it a scary situation for you?
Johanna?
Yeah, yep, it really was.
Okay.
I was like made fun of in elementary school because I would always cry during thunderstorms.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
Yeah, and I always thought that the thunderstorm was going to be a tornado.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I hated this movie.
Okay.
And when we went to Universal Studios and like went to like the actual like pretend scene of Twister, I like about died. So yeah, I thought it was really funny that this one was the one that we had to do.
Like, yeah. Is your mom or your grandma or anybody, like, did they instill that in you because they're afraid?
So I lived in California when I was 4, and I was in that 1994 earthquake. That was like the worst one they've ever had.
Oh my gosh.
And it was really scary. So I think that, ever since then, I just haven't.
Just natural disasters have it out for you.
Now I feel bad. We gave you some PTSD about it.
Yeah, right.
So.
Oh no.
Are you still afraid of
Not
weather?
At all.
Okay.
I mean, as much as the normal person is, like if the fucking sky is green and everything's, standing still, and we know for sure it's going to be a tornado, fuck yeah, I'm freaking out. But
if a cow floats by, we got trouble.
Yeah. I'm definitely like sensitive to loud noises though. So if it's super loud thunder, sometimes I get a little scared. But nothing like elementary school Johanna pissing her pants.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, it was definitely my grandmother is one of the most scared people I've ever seen. Like, she lived in a trailer home, and they had to build a basement under it. Like they dug out and built a cinder block basement underneath it, so she had a place to escape to, because she was certain she was going to be.
When the wind would blow, she'd be like, I'm going downstairs.
And she would just leave whatever she was doing, and she would just go down in her little homemade bunker and hang out. And that definitely got instilled.
She's like Trump.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely got instilled in the rest of, like, my mom is also super scared. And when I was younger, I was absolutely petrified. And I would say probably within the last 10 years, that's when it really, like, I just don't care anymore. Like, I'm like, if it's coming, it's coming. Who cares? Right. But like, even when we first bought this house, I remember the first few storms that we had, because we had like an accessible basement under this. We would pack up the family and everybody would hang out down in the basement until we got the all clear. But now I don't care. I mean, if it's going to take the house, it's going to take the house, whatever. It's going to, we're going to go with it. So
I've always loved weather. Like, it's never scared me, but I do. And I always did as a kid. And I do now still have nightmares about tornadoes. Okay. And I don't even know if it's like a nightmare, because I see it, and then I'm like trying to help like the people I care about or whatever. Like, we gotta, and then all of course everyone's in the basement, and you look out the window, and then there's some dumbass, and you're like, no, we gotta save them. Yeah. So like, I have that dream all the time.
That's the Toby that needs to get let back in, and then
yes,
and then your dad gets sucked out a window.
Yeah. Sure. Again, with the animals, like, we're so relieved that the animal lives, and like the person dies, and we're like, oh, well, I'm glad the dog got saved.
Yeah, it built so much tension in the first like 2 minutes of this movie that dog is going to get sucked away into a tornado, and then
her fat ass mom should have
hold the door, bitch. Yeah,
yes. Like, I feel like if she would have had his ankles, there's no way that Twister would have sucked them up.
Right.
Like, yeah.
It's the same with like Jack on the door from Titanic. Yes. Like, come on, there's room on that door. You grab a piece of this door, lady.
Yeah, no shit. If I were Joe, I wouldn't have blamed the tornado. I'd blame my heifer mom for not hanging on to him.
No. All right. And we get, this is exciting because we have a clip from last week when we were supposed to do the podcast, but Mandy couldn't because she had some issues.
I am so sorry.
This is what we got from that. I can't hold it. I can't hold it. So I just assumed that's what you were screaming along with the movie.
I was so sick for like 5 days. I had horrible stomach issues, and I actually
you had your own Twister going on.
I was like, okay, like I know nausea and diarrhea are part of COVID, but I'm like, I would like hold my breath for 10 seconds and be like, okay, like I'm not coughing, but it was like
that was your home test to find out if you had it.
To give our audience an idea of how bad I was, this is literally my first beer in a week, which is I mean, maybe it was withdrawal, and like
your own detox.
It started out as like a sickness, and then I just like made it worse. But yeah, it was no bueno, and I am so sorry that we had to reschedule. But I even had to dump my kid on someone else. I'm like, please just come get her. I need to rest. So.
All right. Let's meet main characters Bill and Melissa. Right here.
Yes.
If I know Joe, she's already dragged her entire department into the field. Oh hell, day like today is to be expected.
Jamie Gertz.
Yeah, this is our second Jamie Gertz film. Those of you who remember Crossroads.
It's our third because she was in Lost Boys.
Oh yeah. I try to forget that movie any chance I can.
Shut up.
That's what she said.
You don't think so?
No.
What did you think of her performance in this movie?
Worst Southern accent ever.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
all of them.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
Why not let Cary Elwes just be a British guy?
A British person?
Like he could have been, and it would have not had to have dealt with his terrible accent.
I do like it when he's like, yes, they're very unpredictable. Like I was like, that actually sounds like, like a Southern asshole, like very,
Yeah. Here is this is Jonas, so everyone gets a handle on the type of accent we're talking about here.
What drives me is the unknown. What if we could predict the tornado's path? How many lives would be spared with the creation of an early warning system?
He sounds like a British guy trying to do a Southern accent.
For sure.
Digital orthographic telemetry. And inside, she holds hundreds of these little sensors, which when released in the tornado will transmit back data on wind speed.
I feel like
he says dater.
2.10.
He backs off a little on it though. Like Jamie Gertz is like, I feel like she's in like a high school production of something that's Southern, and she like overdoes it. Like Melissa Reeves here, like she just tries way too hard.
For sure.
Yeah.
I gotta go, Julia. We've got cows.
Oh, we got cows.
It's so bad. Oh, by the way, go ahead.
You take the truck and head home. I'll get the papers signed and see you tonight, okay?
No. You know what, honey? I find this kind of interesting. I'm going to tag along.
So bad. It's so bad. I do love her, though, like as an actress. And I think that she's beautiful. I just think that she's so pretty.
Yeah.
And she does such a good job of like acting like she's polite and then like starting to like slowly get annoyed. I would fucking kill Dusty. Like,
oh, yeah, for sure.
So bad. And I love Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Right.
But watching this with more of like an analytical eye, even though as a kid I just thought he was the best, I was like, this guy, I felt like it was horrible writing.
Yeah. I don't know how he got any more work after this movie. Like, just his performance in this movie was like, that is too much, sir.
Over the top, yes. I don't know if they were like, hey, just act like the biggest jackass ever. And he did.
Yeah.
Oh, that was decent, though.
Yeah. So did anybody have any characters they thought were like standout performances or anything that was like, this is really great, or anyone that was exceptionally terrible that they were like, this needs to be mentioned, this is such a bad performance? Other than Dusty.
It's like that it's just that classic like 90s movie, like no one's good,
Sure,
like
sure, I gotcha.
Just no one. But I will say for sure Melissa sucks. Like she all those scenes where it's like just her and like they're panning it like just into her face, and that's when you have to do the most acting, if you will, because it's just you having to pretend like you're scared or whatever. I was just like, this sucks. Yeah. But her like when she let out a scream, I was like, okay, that was impressive. I believed that scream, but the accent, everything.
Yeah.
Like,
when she's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm like, that is real. Like that would be me if I was like hunkered down inside that little thing. Like
that's just because she was standing next to Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I know, right?
She had some stranger danger issues going on there.
My number one character, even as a kid and up to this day, was always Aunt Meg. I loved her.
Yeah.
I thought she was awesome. She was a good actress, and I like as she's talking when they're upstairs, and she's like, I just always like can like hear those words in my mind, and she's amazing.
Yeah, she's just a super maternal character. She's welcoming to everybody. She feeds them all, and right. Okay. So I guess we
when she's like, likewise, you better run. I love that.
Well, here's a small clip of her too. Here.
Is she okay?
We'll probably keep her overnight just to be safe.
Overnight, forget it. I'm all right.
We're going to the hospital.
Okay, I'll go, but I'm gonna drive myself.
Honey, your car's in a tree around the corner.
Oh.
That was a little bit of Cameron. We had a little Cam from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. Old Alan Ruck. Yeah.
Yes. Love him. And he's like, fold the maps. I don't know. We're on Bob's Road. I say that all the time. Yeah. When I'm lost, I'm like, I don't know where I am. I'm on like fucking Bob's Road right now.
And is don't fold the maps. I didn't fold the map. Yeah, well, Kansas.
And then we get what is that? Sean Whalen is the other kid there.
Yeah.
And he's from That Thing You Do.
That Thing You Do.
That weird looking dude.
Oh, he's so unfortunately ugly.
Yep.
Like, he will never be a leading man. Like, he will only get like the weird. Oh, his teeth is He's
but he got some work, man. He gets work being that weird dude.
He's like an ugly Steve Buscemi, which is really bad because that dude is fucking ugly.
So let's talk about the basic premise of this movie. So she sees her dad get sucked into a tornado when she's like 3 or whatever, and then eventually turns into a tornado scientist.
Yeah.
Just some classic daddy issues. It's fine.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're trying to figure out what happens in the middle of a tornado, which I don't think it'd be that hard to figure out at this point. Like,
well, it's 96 though. I mean, that was before. I feel like that was a really long time ago.
I just wonder if that premise was accurate at the time. You know what I mean? Like,
it was, because
did they not know how a tornado works?
Well, I don't know if they did, but Dorothy is actually is made after the actual device that is used to measure tornadoes called Toto, Toto,
okay.
And they called it Dorothy, like a play on words. Obviously, It had to do with like Toto, but also like the Twister
thing,
and all that stuff. Yeah,
sure.
Yep. So I mean, it must have been semi correct.
Yeah. I don't know. So then they figure out how to deal with tornadoes by throwing these tiny little sensors up inside of a tornado, and they had to figure out a way to get them in the middle, which the whole movie
hopeless is. Pepsi Cola plug.
For sure.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm like, did they not find any other fucking tin cans? For one thing, it's Wakita. There would be like some fucking Natty Light and some Busch Light cans in that neighborhood for sure.
Yeah, they're
don't tell me that everyone down there is only drinking pop.
Okay.
Shut up.
No, hold on. I just got a text message, so I didn't know what the hell it was.
I have a lot of fun facts, and I can zip through a few pretty quick.
Okay, sure.
The filming of this, actually, they delayed it because of the Oklahoma City bombing, because it was filmed in Oklahoma, and a lot of the crew actually like went over to like look for people in the rubble. So I thought that was interesting. Hold on
just 1 second. Is it raining where you guys are at right now?
I can't tell. I'm in the basement.
Because I'm up in the upstairs, right? And this is like the wall is the roof, basically, right here. And it is raining like fucking crazy right now. Like, I don't have any windows nearby, but holy crap. Like, I'm in the middle of a damn Twister myself right now.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be crazy?
Right. Wouldn't it be just sudden the wall peels off and I
my home
Would you guys dedicate the rest of your lives to learning what the inside of tornadoes do if I were to get sucked out of wall?
No.
Damn. All right.
I live 2 houses down from the siren, it is loud AF. Oh my gosh! Like whenever they do, it's crazy.
And of course, they have to practice.
Loud.
They got to practice siren once a month, right?
Yeah. Well, and wouldn't that be the time that they would do air raids? Haven't we talked about that before? Like, why don't you just make sure it's like the 3rd Saturday of the month at 1 o'clock? Just start bombing the shit out of somebody, and when we heard
that's when the Russians start parachuting in. That's what
exactly.
Red Dawn action.
This was the very first movie released on DVD, so that's super fun. I know, and it was the very last movie released on HD like DVD. That's what it says. I don't know what that means because I feel like there's still DVD, maybe before Blu-ray.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Did you own this on DVD? Ever?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah?
VHS, and then I probably bought this DVD more than once.
Nice.
Like, I lost it in my breakups, when you just leave your shit and you're like, I'm going to leave. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Let's hit a couple more of these clips here. We do have, we already talked about this, but here's this one here.
You're upset. You just got to breathe. You just got to breathe.
Cow.
I don't know, Julia, we got cows.
There it is. I don't know, Julia, we got cows.
And the thing is I always say cow. Like when we're driving somewhere and there's cows.
Another cow.
Like, especially for my daughter, I'm like, look, cows. Like,
so have you guys ever been in a tornado at all? Like, or adjacent to, or anything like that?
No, not really.
I think like the siding of one of the apartment buildings I lived in got ripped off by like the tiniest one. But other than that, no, nothing crazy.
My dad always tells a story of when he was a kid. They were waiting for a bus in a car. Like they had driven to the bus stop and were waiting in the car, and the windows had fogged up in the car. And then they think they felt, because it was super stormy outside too, and they think they felt the car like lift and shift a little bit because one was going nearby or something. But who knows whether that's true or it was just him telling a kid some weird ass story. But I've never been close enough to one to matter. Have you guys ever driven through like the path of one at all?
Hell yeah. When I lived in Marcellus, I swear to God, that place is like Podunkville, but they get every single type of weather. Like if there's a tornado, it's going to go through Marcellus. Like,
yeah.
It's just, that's the way it's going to happen. And I remember one time, like I was driving and I was like, I was like this movie, like I just pictured the trees were like sideways. And I was like, there's going to be a barn that's going to roll out in front of me and I'm going to have to drive through that shit. Like, I just really felt like that was going to happen.
God, I hated that scene when they drove through that house.
Oh, I know.
Oh, well. Ridiculous.
Okay, so when it was shot, I wanted to make sure I said this because I just think that it's so awesome. When it is hurling machinery in their path when they're driving,
yep.
they actually suspended all the equipment from a helicopter, which obviously nowadays would all be done by computer. And they just dropped it one by one while like the truck drove through everything. So I don't know if you noticed when like the machine, like the thing comes and breaks the window and then all of a sudden like the windshield's fine.
Okay.
I noticed that this time watching it and I was like, oh, well, obviously that wasn't supposed to happen. So they just like left it out in the following shots. But I'm like, hell yeah, that's pretty freaking awesome that they did that.
Well, yeah. Now it would all be done via, computer generated nonsense. But
I mean, like this is like real.
You guys are making me want to watch it again.
Just to see this stupid shit. Well, they tried in this movie. Like they tried to do like computer generated shit in this movie, and it was awful. Like when they showed the satellite in the beginning, and it was like a cartoon satellite, and then it zoomed in down to the map and everything. I was like, we don't need any of this. You could have just told us, and it didn't have to look this stupid. But
we didn't need any of the weather people, like all the like when they go to like the station or whatever, and although I do have to say, because I watched it with closed caption on, I was thoroughly impressed with the dialogue and how quickly everybody said all the weird shit that you're like, I know that these actors didn't know what the hell that, they'll still probably don't even know what the hell that means. Like,
a lot of jargon that no one knows what the hell's they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. When the tank comes down and explodes, that tanker, that actually happened, and they had to do it twice because the first time there was something off with the timing of the camera, and they did not catch it.
Ugh.
Yeah, so
that's an expensive fuck up for somebody.
The director, Jean Debont, whatever. It's Jan. I want to call him Jan, but I don't know.
Sure.
He didn't tell the studio. Oh, God bless you. Oh, God bless you. Corona.
Yeah. No,
but he didn't tell the studio right away because he was afraid, and so they just like reshot it and they had to like cough up another $500,000 or something for that scene.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
right, for real.
Somebody lost their job over that nonsense.
Oh, and also, too, we talked about Dusty. Sorry, I just have so many fun facts, and I love this movie so much, and I think people that love it want to know this. Garth Brooks turned down the role of Dusty. Can you imagine?
Shit.
Yes, I would have loved it so much more had it been Garth Brooks.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Amazing.
They for sure would have tied in a Garth Brooks song. For sure.
Oh yeah.
They'd have been playing Thunder Rolls.
Yes.
That is awesome. He knows that she knows.
Speaking of country songs, the other association I have with this movie is the Shania Twain song "No One Needs to Know." I think is what it's called. It's played during the scene in the diner. Hold on a second. Right here. This song. It's very quiet because it's in the background.
I'm not hearing your clips well anyways.
Well, they'll talk in a second here.
Yeah.
Check, please.
So this song that's playing.
You. I just hope this isn't some desperate attempt to keep him alive.
Fuck that bitch. That's what I have to say.
Seriously.
We're together.
But yes, Shania.
Yeah, so that
Shania.
And that video, the music video, is all set in the same farmhouse. It's looked to be the same farmhouse at the end of the movie that's still standing at the end. And it's them kind of singing on the porch during a tornado, like a storm is happening around them and everything. It's kind of a neat video, and it was a super cool like tie-in to this movie, which I thought was fun too.
Yeah,
so I want to say
awesome.
I probably watched that music video before I even watched this movie, which was like, oh no shit, like that's why that video exists, like that's why this is a thing. So
how funny.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good
yeah,
song too.
I thought how Helen Hunt pays the check. I'm just like, oh my gosh, she is just like ball, like that is so amazing.
Yeah, and she's like we're together, and then pays the check. Like it was an answer to her question of like, yeah, no, it's the two of us. You're done. You should go home, lady.
All right. So the town of Wakita where Aunt Meg lives, you know how it gets destroyed in the actual tornado? They actually destroyed the town. No shit. They paid to destroy it, and then they paid to rebuild it. Wow. Isn't that yes?
Like in the actual town of Wakita, like if you go to Wakita, you'll see new construction based on this movie.
Correct, and they have like they have a museum there, like based around the movie with like photos, and they have like a replica of Dorothy and stuff. So if you're ever near Wakita, you should go visit their Twister Museum.
Look at that.
I'd be like, yeah, destroy my fucking house. I got some plumbing issues. You can redo all that shit.
And then also, I wanted to point out too, we have another cameo-ish of a guy who was in a movie that we have already done as well. And let's get this here.
Oh, howdy, Bill. We are heading northeast, running parallel, and about to pull ahead of it on the left. Wide.
Hang back a minute. We got a pretty good view from back here.
Eddie is the guy. So we get him in a second. That guy right there, Eddie, is from Tommy Boy. He is the guy who is he's when Richard has the camera. When Richard has the camera and he's at the wedding and he's asking people to say something, and he says, "The boy, would I like to get me some of that?" He's like, Jesus, and he goes, "You got an edit button on that thing, kid?" And he chases him down.
Yeah.
It's that same guy.
Yeah,
awesome.
When I saw him, I was like, I know him from somewhere, and I don't know where I know him, and it took me a while to pinpoint it. But yeah, that's the same guy.
I genuinely was like surprised as to how many famous people were in this film.
Absolutely.
Like I haven't watched it since I was a kid. Yeah, and I was just like, holy shit, what?
Yeah.
This person.
I feel like this movie like made, because of it was such a huge hit, like it just made people famous. Like, oh, you were in Twister? Like they wouldn't have even cared if it was just like a no talking, like, yeah, you're hired.
Yeah, right.
Right.
The guy who was on Jonas's team, his name is Abraham Ben Ruby. He was a child actor in a bunch of like Boy Meets World type shows. Like he was the muscle kid, like the big giant muscle guy in a bunch of those TV shows and stuff when he was a younger kid. This is Jake Busey was in the movie. Anthony Rapp, who is in Rent, was in the movie somewhere in the background. Like just a ton.
Anthony Rapp, really? He was in Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah, yep. And
yeah.
He showed up in the background of this movie somewhere too, but could not believe all of the people who were, a person that you could recognize in this. But okay, so we are getting to about the end of the halfway point here. And before we do that, we always have a little activity for all of our guests to partake in. And that activity, of course, has its own theme song. And I forgot to drag the theme song into the proper spot. So here we go. It goes like this.
By the way, my screen totally froze just now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's good.
Okay.
Chop this synopsis.
All right. That theme song was lovingly provided by Mr. Bob Fredericks. And the
Love
game
you, Bobby.
is Chop This Synopsis. And what that means is, Johanna, we are going to give you the break to come up with a 10-word or less synopsis of the movie Twister. So what you want to do is describe the film in 10 words or less, something that would maybe go on the back of a DVD or the little blurb that they do before you click on it on Netflix. So describe it in 10 words or less, and we'll get that from you when we come back after the break. So you'll have a few minutes to figure that out. But in the meantime, we're going to take a break, and everybody, we will be right back after these messages.
Jamie, I need you to keep the dogs quiet. I'm recording a commercial for the Elemental podcast, so can you keep them quiet? during this recording of my commercial for the Elemental podcast? I mean, I know the dogs bark a whole lot when we actually record the podcast on Mondays and Thursdays and during the Patreon on Saturdays. But during the commercial, we need the recording to be dog bark free. Can you do that for me, Jamie? Can you keep the dogs quiet during the recording of this commercial for the Elemental podcast that people can listen to every Monday and Thursday and the Patreon on Saturday? Can you do that for me, Jamie? Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Chop this synopsis. Chop this synopsis. Chop this synopsis.
And we're back. All right. Thank you so much for listening to those podcasts that we put ads up for. They appreciate it. We appreciate it. Go listen to those guys.
Go listen.
All right. And in the meantime, we were to get a 10-word or less synopsis of the film Twister. So, Johanna, if you could please regale us with that synopsis of Twister.
Yeah, it's more of a poem.
Okay, we love it. Here we go.
Oh, yay.
A limerick.
I'm just totally joking. It's shit, but okay, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it anyway.
All right.
All right. Daddy issues, divorce papers, bad weather, bad acting, cows, Twister. There you go.
Very good. I'd watch that.
That is so, perfect.
We got cows.
We got cows.
We got daddy issues.
Yeah.
And it's me, I used to work at the family court before COVID, and people just don't sign divorce papers. You don't need your significant other to sign divorce papers. You just take them to court. It's just the way that it goes. I don't know why they make
That is a trope in a lot of movies, though. It's gotta go pick up the papers, gotta go get those papers signed. But
yeah.
And also too, when she's they're running out of grant money and stuff. I did wonder, how do these people live? They have, this is what they do for a living.
And just destroying vehicles over and over again. We'll just go get a different vehicle, no big deal or whatever. And there is absolutely no way that man only had liability coverage on that brand new.
Oh yeah, for sure. That is
a full coverage situation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I do have to say, even though a lot of the acting wasn't super great, I think that Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton had a really good chemistry between the two of them.
Sure, yeah.
For sure.
I agree.
It takes a minute to get used to Bill Paxton's acting style. He's very slow and deliberate with his words and stuff. But once you get over that, you're like, okay, I guess this is how just this guy talks. I get it. And
I feel too, because he's so fucking boring in the beginning because he's been stuck with Melissa Reeves. And he, once he gets back to his old regular self and he's like, no, that was a different Bill, an evil Bill, and I killed. Yeah, exactly. Then you're like, oh, yeah, I totally dig this guy. He wasn't happy being a weatherman.
For sure.
No way.
And I thought it was also funny that she has immense daddy issues clearly, and then he ended up with a sexual therapist as his next lady that he's going to.
I think she was a reproductive therapist.
Well, whatever. She was.
So yeah,
she's not married to your penis.
Yeah. Well, she didn't only marry your penis.
Right. Okay.
So
well, hold on. Let's hit the divorce papers talk here. We just talked about that.
So you want the papers?
I did drive all the way out here for them.
They're signed and ready.
Good. Let's see them.
Do you need them right this second?
Well, it'd be nice.
Yes, what's the urgency? You act like you're getting married.
Ma'am.
Wow. Is it Melinda?
Melissa.
Wasn't there a Melinda in there?
I want to look this good in a wife beater.
Yeah.
Seriously. You're browsing, aren't you?
No, I guess I'm not.
There you go.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh my gosh. And I also commented on Facebook, her bangs, I love them so much. I am not a person that can have, Johanna, do you ever have bangs? Do you, you get, the urge and then you just cut them and then they look like shit?
Oh, once every 3 years, honey. Yeah. I have, mental breakdown bangs.
Is it usually after watching a movie where someone has fantastic fucking bangs?
Yeah, 500 Days of Summer. I was like, I'm fucking doing it.
Yes. For me, it's Devil Wears Prada when Anne Hathaway gets her bangs. And then this movie, and I'm like, I have super curly hair. In the summer, they frizz and curl up. It's just such a horrible thing. But Helen Hunt, even after going through rain and disaster, her bangs are so fantastic in this movie. Which is good because I am a weird teeth person, and I think she has bad teeth. Like generally, I don't think she has, and so, but she makes up for it by having fucking awesome bangs.
Nice.
So,
yeah,
I would. Do you think she's pretty, Matt?
I don't. I mean, she's just kind of there. You know what I mean? Like, she's not meant to be like a sex symbol in this movie, which is, I mean, kind of it would be a disservice to this movie if it was like a crazy bombshell of a woman that was trying to be, you know, like she's definitely. I feel like her and Bill Paxton would make a great couple, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Do you think Bill's uggo?
No, I don't. I just think they're just like a normal, like you can hang out with these people. They don't seem like movie stars almost. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is.
It's the gap in the teeth.
Yeah,
he has horrible teeth. Yes, when they're in the rain and his hair is like, and he's like, you know, come on, Joe, don't you see what's right in front of you? And I'm like, I see it. It's fucking huge, nasty, bad teeth. Like, stop.
Hated that scene, by the way.
Yeah.
His like, come on, Joe, your dad died. Get over it. And I'm like, you insensitive bastard. Like,
right.
I mean, but he's like, are you like, I get that though, because he's like, do you have to kill yourself in order to like get over this? Like, I can see, I don't know. I thought that scene was all right. And it did give Melissa an idea, like, hey, girlfriend, you're not working out.
Right. And then they like hand again to her face.
The pack's wasted. It's over.
What is wrong with you? We can still do this.
Jesus Christ, listen to yourself. You're obsessed.
You've never
I can just see his teeth.
You've never seen him miss this house and miss that house and come after you.
And they're like 6 inches from each other and just spitting rainwater everywhere.
Is that what you think it did?
Did. Crash, Joe. Is that what you think it did?
Jesus, Joe, why can't you just forget it?
You don't understand, okay? You'll never know.
Your dad will never get sucked up into a tornado.
Well, your fat mom just sits there.
Yeah.
They do not mention her mom at all. Clearly her mom is dead at this point, but like
must be.
They don't care about her at one.
Which the actress, by the way, I looked her up and she is like she looks great now. She looks great in her old age. I think they made her look, you know.
I think she looked great back then, Mandy. Okay.
She just had, and she had like, it was the 90 and she had big boobs, so maybe she wasn't as fat as you thought, but I don't know. I am not one to talk, obviously, like there's no judgment here. Well, there's a lot of judgment, obviously, but only because she wouldn't hold on to his legs.
This clip is the reason why I make everyone call me, I don't know, I was going to make up some stupid joke about
the extreme.
This is what everyone called me. This is what everyone called me in high school because I was so good with the ladies. They made everyone call me F5 because.
Oh, is there an F5? What would that be like?
Cue the music.
Finger of God.
The finger of God.
So dumb. So dumb.
It is.
Speaking of, like,
so dumb.
the guy that says finger of God, and I think they call him like the Reverend or whatever, or the preacher. He does, what is his purpose? He does nothing. Like, he just is in the car. I'm like, everyone else is like reading instruments and he's listening to opera. Like, he does nothing for their
he just drives one of the trucks.
I mean, is he there to read them his last rites? Is that why they call him preacher?
I guess maybe. Yeah, maybe once they get impaled by a piece of scaffolding, they're like, this is what
I love that the chick that is in the car with him singing the opera, she's also in Flipper.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys remember that movie.
No, I mean, I've for sure seen it. No,
oh my God, you guys. It's like such a 90s like staple.
All right, put it on the list.
You've got to watch Flipper.
That's a good segue into if we would have given you a movie to pick that
there you go.
Shaped your childhood. What would it have been? Flipper?
Oh my God, no, probably like Practical Magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so me right here. I love it so much.
Yeah, Practical Magic for sure.
That is the only movie, I guess Moulin Rouge too, but I cannot stand Nicole Kidman. I just think she is one of like the ugliest people. Oh, I can't stand her.
Oh my God, it's so funny. I think she's so beautiful.
But I love her in that movie. I do.
Yes. Yeah.
Jelly Bean.
Yeah.
All right.
No, and Aunt Meg like kind of reminds me of those ants too.
Sure.
Like, same vibe.
Absolutely.
All right. I wanted to play this because this is my least favorite part of the whole movie. I want to tip my television over when this plays.
Hey, you know what, Joe? Some of us couldn't help but notice how close we are to Wakita.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Aunt May wouldn't mind a pit stop, right?
This just close up on all of these dudes.
Sustenance.
Guys, we are not.
We crave sustenance. He was very Pauly Shore there.
Yeah.
I kept thinking Pauly Shore anytime he would say anything.
We're absolutely not going.
And then they do.
Yeah.
And then they do.
I do love it when he's like, what was it like? And she's like, it was windy. Like, that's a great, which actually the theme to this, like their trailers or whatever, like the tagline for this movie was going to be, it sucked.
Wow.
And then they decided not to. So I wondered if that was the original line.
Oh,
if
maybe.
he was like, what was it like? And she'd be like, it sucked. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway. It sucked sounds like a porn tagline.
Sure, yeah. That's the other twister.
It's a clown that gives blowjobs. Like, it sucked.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
We're making these are $1 million ideas, Mandy. You're just giving them away on the podcast.
So other people that were considered for the role, obviously Tom Hanks, because he's considered for everything.
Sure, yep.
Michael
Paul
Keaton.
Rudd.
No. Paul Rudd was like 8.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, Michael Keaton, Kurt Russell, Kevin Costner, Richard Gere, John Travolta, Mel Gibson, and Dennis Quaid were all considered. Oh, wow. And actually, yeah, Tom Hanks actually like read for it, and he was like considering doing it. He picked all the wardrobe and stuff, and they ended up keeping all of that. But Bill Paxton, they felt like had more of like a guy next door.
Sure.
And I honestly don't picture anyone else doing this part. Like I just can't.
Yeah. I could see maybe Kevin Costner, 90s Kevin Costner doing it.
I could see Kevin Costner. I could see like Michael Keaton for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody else would have been okay.
No
way.
What if we recast it now? Aren't they doing a reboot?
Yes, they are. I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Do they know who's going to be in it yet?
I have no idea.
No one's signed on yet, so
it's probably going to be The Rock and Kevin Hart.
The Rock, Kevin Hart, and Melissa McCarthy. Yeah.
Which actually, I would fucking love that.
Melissa McCarthy's going to play Aunt Meg. And Paul Rudd is going to be.
I love that.
Paul Rudd's going to be the dad that got sucked out the window or whatever.
So this is what I wanted to see originally. This was originally full of gore and cuss words, and it was going to be rated R. And they like got rid of all of that in order to make it PG-13 and make it more family friendly.
Sure.
Carrie Elwes actually recorded a ton of stuff that was just because of content they took it out. Yeah. And I do love him, and I felt like that storyline was cut short a lot. Like they didn't get into a lot of it.
Sure.
It was just kind of there, like hanging there, you know.
And then they just finished it. They were just like, we don't need this character anymore, and explosion. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can tell there's like some missing content there.
Yeah.
Also, when you saw it in the theater, I did. Obviously, I didn't notice this, but when Philip Seymour Hoffman is sitting in the lawn chair and he laughs and lifts his leg, you can clearly see his genitals.
What?
And
what?
Yeah, for like a split second, I guess. Like there's just jump there.
Now I gotta watch it again.
Well, no, but right.
More like Philip Seymour genitals, right? Come on. So
oh my god, you're so dumb.
I'm sorry you're here for this, Johanna.
I love it. I'm eating it up. I love it so much.
They edited it out though for like DVD and VHS and like
they
TV.
Put the blur on. Yeah.
So you can't really see that part now, but
well, I guess I have no reason to go back and watch it.
Well, and the thing too,
I need a director's cut.
13-year-old me thought Dusty was gross, even though I thought he was cool. So I wouldn't even have been looking for his junk. So, yeah. Also, speaking of other people playing, Christopher McDonald, who is Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
He was considered for Jonas.
Okay.
But he was already doing Happy Gilmore.
Okay,
so.
I was like, would have been better, honestly. Anybody?
Yeah.
No, and it's not even because if they would have just let him be a British man, it would have been perfect. But because of the accent was so distracting, it made his performance seem less than par for me. Like it was like, ew, this is not good.
He does have a Southern accent at the end of Kiss the Girls, which I kind of gave you a spoiler. And that's a great movie. He plays the villain, and he's amazing.
All right, I want to play this clip here too. Hold on.
Okay, and then after that, we should play some games.
Wait, hold on.
In a severe lightning storm, you want to grab your ankles and stick your butt in the air.
Just a PSA for anyone out there.
Yeah, I like to get hit by lightning once. You know, see what it's like.
That guy who says I'd like to get hit by lightning once to see what it's like was in an episode of The Office. where Pam and Jim go to the daycare. They're trying to get their kid into a new daycare, and Jim walks in on him in the bathroom.
Yeah,
that's the guy who he walks in on in the bathroom. But.
He has been in a few things. I want to say he was played in what's the movie with Kevin Bacon and Brad Pitt where they were molested as kids in the boys' home. The boys' home that they were in. It's got I can't remember.
The Cider House Rules.
No.
Murder in the First. I don't know.
No.
Planes, Trains, Automobiles.
Shut up. Anyway, I shouldn't have even brought it up. I think he's a cop in that movie, but
okay.
Anyway, all right, we should play some games. You want to do box office?
Let's do box office, and in the break I put the theme songs where they're supposed to be, so this is more exciting for me. All right, here we go. Theme song for the box office game. It's quick. Ready? Box office theme song. That's it. Box office theme song provided by Mr. Stu McAllister of the Elemento Podcast. So.
All right. So, Johanna, how much do you think it cost to make this movie back in 1996? What do you think the budget was?
$500 trillion.
It's probably on par.
Yeah, I mean,
according to all your fun facts of like, we had to blow up a fucking semi-truck again. I'm like, okay, how did they ever afford this? But yeah, that's my guess.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say this was an incredibly high budget movie for what it was, I would think. So I'm going to go with this had to be like $100 million or some nonsense. Like it's got to be outrageously.
Yeah, it was 92 million.
Oh my God. I thought I was exaggerating a lot and I was not. So yeah.
No, yeah. That's a big budget for a 1996.
92 million is basically 500 trillion to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
the same
that's
amount.
So much money.
You stack it up in front of me. That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the crazy thing too is they're going to make it with an even bigger budget, when they remake it.
Yeah.
But their budget's going to be to pay the actors because everything's going to be CGI. It's going to be so much easier to remake this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
No more practical effects. Yeah.
Well, and we talked about CGI sucking, but really all of the tornadoes were CGI in this movie, and those were pretty.
Yeah, it was okay.
It's not like you're going to be like, oh, that's not like the tornadoes I've seen.
Right, yeah.
I thought the big one, when they shot that, the drive-in scene, I was like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That is actually, it looks good. Looks real. I was a little scared, as you guys know.
For sure.
Especially because the lightning strikes and you only see it for a second. That's fucking scary to me.
And who watches The Shining in June in a cornfield? Come on.
I did think that was a little strange. I was like, is this is the director obsessed with this movie? Is it some sort of
He's
I don't know.
Kubrick fan, I guess. I don't know.
Yes,
it just seems like it would be a summer blockbuster type movie, not some old ass, weird ass, scary movie, but whatever.
Right.
All right. So now is the time that we talk about ages.
Oh shit. Wait, did we talk about how much this movie made?
Oh no, I suck.
Yeah. How much? How much do you think, Johanna? How much do you think this movie made worldwide gross up, estimated up until this date? So it cost $92 million to make. How much do you think it's made?
If it cost $92 million, I would hope it made more than that. So $93 million.
Okay, I'm gonna say this movie has banked somewhere in the upper 300s ish, somewhere in that area.
$492 or $94 million.
Jesus Christ!
Holy
almost a $500 million.
$500 million.
Oh
yes.
My God.
Wowzers! No wonder they're making another one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They haven't made a sequel yet, which is unheard of for something making that. And it's funny because Steven Spielberg went up to Bill Paxton. He didn't see him at all during the movie. He was the producer. And a year and a half later, Steven Spielberg walked up to Bill Paxton. He's like, "Hey, thanks for making me a lot of money," and then shook his hand and walked away. So yeah,
nice.
and rips to Bill Bill Paxton. He died in 2017.
Too. It was complications of a surgery or something.
It was heart surgery. They had complications. And I'll tell you how old he was after we talk about how old he was in this movie.
Sure. Yeah. Are we doing that next segment then?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So it's just called how old are you? We don't have a song for this one.
Oh yeah, that's right. We used to, but we don't anymore.
Right, we gave it up.
All right, how old do you think Helen Hunt was?
In 96 when they made this movie.
I don't know. It's tough with her.
It is, yeah.
Because she looks young, but she looks old.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Hollywood, so they wouldn't have casted her if she was over 25. Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't know, 28 maybe?
Okay.
I'm going to give her like low 30s. I'm going to say like 32, 33, something like that.
She was 33. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Which did you ever watch Mad About You? Because that was a really good show.
I've seen it in passing. I don't think I ever.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like back when like Caroline in the City, like it was just all those crap shows
Sure.
were out. Mm-hmm. But Mad About You was pretty funny. I remember watching it.
That was who's the guy?
I knew you were going to ask
Paul
me.
Reiser. It's the other guy. Or is it Paul Reiser? I don't know.
That sounds right to me. I don't know. Our listeners are like, oh my God, you are so stupid.
Yeah. Anytime we can't think of anything, it's always someone screaming at their radio.
Bill, how old do you think Bill Paxton was when he made this movie?
Yeah, I guess maybe like 34.
Okay.
I don't know. He looked older too.
Sure. Yeah. I was going to go 35, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was 41.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, dang. Okay.
I know. That ass, right? I'm telling
that
you.
That ass and those teeth.
Yeah.
The ass makes up for the teeth, in my opinion. But
I know.
Have him turn around.
I wanted to say too, I didn't put this in my notes, but because the storm and they had to make it look so dreary outside, in order for contrast, they put super bright lights inside the cab of the truck whenever they're in the truck, which is most of the movie, really, for the second half. They both him and Helen Hunt ended up getting like retinal burns from the lights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And there were a lot of injuries. When you see him in the back of the truck and he's like getting Dorothy ready and he has cuts on his hands and the cut on his forehead, that is all real. And because he cut his head on like part of the debris or whatever, they ended up including the scene where she stops really fast and he hits his head because they had to explain this giant cut. Happened, sure. Yeah, cut on his eyebrow. And there were a lot of injuries. I mean, the hail itself was a huge like undertaking for everybody. They couldn't find enough ice in Oklahoma, so they had to like import ice from other states, and then they had to like try to include milk, like they to make it so you could see it on film better. And of course, that's like that's like 3 seconds of the movie, like when they show it on the road.
That's where all that budget came from. That's $92
million worth of ice.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They're out there making ice cream and trying to justify it. Can we just add some milk to this?
Well, and then I thought that too. I'm like, oh my God, that must have stunk so fucking bad. Like after it melted and everything. Oh, speaking of the last scene when they're in the field and like the house and they're like, oh, the house is still standing. That was a pig farm, and the trucks, like the only place they could park was around like the pond where they put like all the pig shit.
Okay.
So that was really fun for everybody because it just smelled like,
disgusting.
All right. Who else we got?
Sorry, Cary Elwes. How old do you think he was in this movie?
Which guy was he? I don't.
He played Jonas. He played Jonas.
That terrible accent, Jonas. The guy stole their idea.
Maybe 36.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 30 for him.
That Johanna wins because it's 34,
okay.
And we usually give like plus or minus a year, so that was really close. And then Jamie Gertz, Dr. Melissa Reeves. How old do you think she was?
I'm gonna go with 30.
I feel like she's got to be older because she was already. Well, no, she was only like 16 in Crossroads. So I don't know. 35.
She was 31.
Okay.
Okay, and
I did not marry your penis.
I just had to get this in.
Okay, all right. She didn't only marry your penis.
There we go. All right.
I do have to say, like, seeing Helen Hunt being 33 and then Jamie Gertz being 31, I was like, Jamie, I mean, obviously this is not true, but like Jamie Gertz was a psychologist, you know, or a therapist, and Helen Hunt had like she was a scientist. And I'm just like, God, I'm 36. I'm so worthless.
Like, you're just so far behind.
I am like, when I was a kid, this seemed like plausible. Like, 30 is old, whatevs. And now I'm 36. Right. And I'm like, damn, I am behind.
Yeah, it's too late for you to become a sexual therapist or a
I love that you call it a
scientist. I don't care.
Sexual therapist.
Everything she talks about is sex.
The best.
Reproduction has nothing to do with sex.
Everything she talks about is sex. All right. You want to play the next game?
Yeah.
All right. This one also has a theme song. Here we go.
I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound?
Do you hear what I hear?
What's that sound?
Do you hear what I hear?
What's that sound?
All right, it is time for us to play What's That Sound? This game, I take a sound from the movie. I've pulled these clips. It is a sound from the movie, and I'm going to ask you what's happening on screen while this sound is playing. Mandy
Johanna,
has also not heard these clips before.
And just so you know, Johanna, these get garbled. Matt doesn't believe me, but our last guest was like, yeah, that was fucking garbled as shit. So listen really hard.
You might have a tough time hearing.
The first time you hear it is like going to be the best, and then after that, he's like, "Here, I'll play it again," and then it just sounds like So
it's not my fault, man. It's technology. I can't.
There's
nothing I can do about it.
Fair.
All right. So you're going to get first swing at it. If you can't get it, then it goes to Mandy, and if neither of you get it, it can go to the listeners, and they will have to email us in and tell us what it was. All right. So the first sound is. Okay, I can play it again if you want, if you need it, but
those are Aunt Meg's wind chimes.
That is correct. Yes, that is Aunt Meg.
Speaking of, how amazing were those? Like, I totally want one in my yard.
Cool.
I can't believe they didn't do that for like part of the merch for the movie, like offering like small replica, that little weird tornado-y thing that she made or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my
gosh,
gosh,
I would totally put that on my lawn.
I wonder who that artist is, actually.
Oh my gosh! They say it in the fun facts, and I didn't. I was like, you know what? I have so many. Nobody's gonna give a shit who this guy is.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a sculptor that did all these, and I apologize.
For sure.
Gotta give credit. All right, go look it up, everyone. If you
can.
Okay, and then here is sound number 2. That one's gonna be a tough one. It's kind of quiet. I'll play it again. Okay.
Is that them pouring the Pepsis into Dorothy?
No. It's close-ish, but all right. Now, Mandy, you want to hear it again?
Yeah, is it when the lid opens?
Kind of.
When the... Oh.
Kind of, but it's not Dorothy.
No, it's the dot.
Yeah, it's the dot 3. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
When the little fins open up and he's talking to the news.
Yes, and can we just talk about what a complete fucker he is for stealing their design? Like,
I know.
They should have let Bill kick his ass. Like, he needed it so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I bet he'd be speaking British after Bill Paxton kicked your ass.
Right. All right. And then now here is sound number 3. This one's going to be tough because there's a lot of this kind of sound in the movie, but this is a very specific event that happens in the movie. So here we go. I think it's going to be loud. I hope not.
That was completely garbled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me try to turn it down a little bit. Maybe it was just too much for the audio. Okay, here we go. No.
That was better.
Better? Okay. I was like, if that's not any better, then there's nothing I can do for you. All right. What do you think that sound was?
Was it in the auto shop when things are getting tossed around?
No, that's a good guess, but nope, that was not.
Dang.
And then Mandy,
was it when they drove through the house?
No.
Like when
God, I should have done that, but no, that was not. And because of the nature of this one and how tough it's going to be, I'm just going to tell you guys rather than letting the audience decide. That is Meg's house falling in on itself.
That was my second guess.
Yeah, there's a couple of spots in the background where you can hear them talk. They're like, and then Meg makes a noise too. So I just was like, maybe there's enough little context clues in there to get it. But yeah, it's her house collapsing in on itself. So.
Another thing too is like save the dog. Like, you know,
for sure.
He goes back into that hell trap and saves the fucking dog again. Which I get because dogs are like so much better than people.
For sure. All right. So that's what we've got for games, and I am out of clips. Mandy, do you have any last fun facts you want to throw in at all? All right.
No.
So I guess
Johanna, are you gonna watch this again?
Would you ever watch this movie again?
I honestly think I'm going to watch it right now. Not even joking.
Nice.
I'm like, it's a rainy day. I want to I really want to pay attention. I want to see the genitals, obviously.
All right.
You know.
Deal. I don't think we've ever had this quick of a turnaround where someone was like, hell yeah, we're doing it right now.
Well, I watched it twice in one day for this. Like the first time I was super distracted because I had the shits. And then I was like, okay, like I think I'm feeling okay. Like I'm going to try to watch it again. And luckily I was doing better at that point.
It was tough to watch it while you were screaming this.
I
can't hold it.
Anyway.
What about you, Matt? Yeah, I will not watch this movie for a while. It's going to be a minute before I pull this one back up again. But
there's something wrong with you. This is something I can watch. I can watch this over and over and over again.
Well, I mean, I did watch it. Like I said, I watched it a couple of times, once through and then to pull the clips. And then this morning, as soon as I woke up, I just started playing it in the background as I was getting everything plugged in and ready for the podcast. I was like, it will just be on in the background. So that was happening this morning. And so, yeah, that's enough. That's enough.
Do you guys have a favorite scene?
You know,
the ass scene. That's my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, the iconic, the cows scene, I think is my favorite part. Just when it's like, we got cows and it's just, it's like the iconic clip from the trailer and stuff. But.
Johanna, I want to hear what your favorite scene is before I go spouting off. Do you have one?
Yes, and it's been my favorite since I was a kid, and it's probably everyone's favorite. But when they do tie themselves to those pipes,
oh, for sure,
that is my favorite. I'm just like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah,
that's so funny because that was gonna be we all know that would never happen. Right?
Right.
But that's got to be everyone's go-to. That's your really plan in the back of your head. You're like, if everything else fails, at least I can tie myself to these pipes. And I'll be all set.
I just see a person tying themselves to the pipes behind their toilet, and then the toilet gets ripped off, and they're just being sprayed with shit, shitty water, and this is the worst way to die.
They're being hung by the toilet they're tied to as the toilet flies away. Yeah.
Well, and there's so much debris. There's so much shit flying everywhere. And
this movie stopped people from moving to Kansas or whatever. You know how a lot of these movies it'll make a huge change in the economy of the area that they dealt with. With this being a disaster movie, I wonder if the town of Wakita or whatever was everyone was fuck that, I'm out of here.
They got new houses though, so they didn't care.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. And I'm surprised a bunch of people don't just put a 30-foot pipe into the ground with an anchor already attached to it, in the middle of their field, so they can just be like, all right, everybody out to the straps. We're hunker down here.
I actually,
these are $1 million ideas, man. We could be making bank on this, and we're just giving them away for free.
Because of this movie, I looked up Tornado Alley, and I was because I was always like, who would buy a house in Tornado Alley? That's so stupid. Well, guess what? It's the entire middle of the country. It's legit from the bottom of the country to the top. And I was like, well, fuck, I guess it's not it's just a town that's Tornado Alley. It's the whole, this giant section. So, and if you live there your whole life, yeah. But I do feel
they don't know any better anyway. They voted for Trump, that whole center section. So I mean,
well, now they're all getting
bad choices.
Now they're all getting COVID because they won't wear a fucking mask. So they don't even have to worry about tornadoes at this point because they're all just gonna hack themselves to death.
For sure.
Sorry, I actually don't hope that. I'm not an evil person. The only person I want to die is Trump. If he would just die, that would be so awesome. But everyone else, and I assume his supporters, at some point they'll be judged by whoever, Mother Nature, God,
tornado, whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
It just started thunderstorming here, by the way, guys.
There you go.
Oh, this is the perfect time to watch your movie.
Yeah. I know. I'm gonna do it.
There you go. Okay. What do you have for plugs? If there's anything you want people to, point toward online or any social media stuff that you've got coming up and anything at all. So.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Please follow the Independent Comedy Club on all socials. Please follow 313 Comedy. Please follow Honorary Mentions Comedy. You can follow me at AVRGJOH on all social platforms. Right now, obviously nothing's happening
Sure.
because of COVID, but we cannot wait to reopen all of those comedy platforms for everybody. So yeah, follow along. We're still doing like cool interviews and like social media takeovers and stuff like that. So we try to have as much fun as possible and try to, share comedy podcasts and all that stuff with everybody.
When you said that, I just wanted to be like, now everybody in the 313, like be a rabbit,
well, We're glad you didn't until you did.
Right. It was perfect.
Yeah. And then, so go follow all those things and get ready for all this stuff to open back up again, because it's got to happen eventually. We might be in a little bit of a back pedal for now, but it's got to happen eventually.
Yeah.
So, and then Mandy, do you have anything that you want to point people toward? Anything you're enjoying during this time of COVID?
I'm enjoying doing another episode podcast.
There you go.
I'm enjoying having semi-normal bowel movements. So that's great.
Neat.
Yes.
All right. So shout out for that. Make sure you follow.
Yeah. I'll keep you updated.
All right. Otherwise, you can reach out to the podcast via email at anotherepisodepodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on the Instagram every week, Sunday. So later today, we will post a poster of the movie that we're doing, and in place of the actors on the movie, we will add your face, Johanna. So we're going to try to find a really nice poster with either Helen Hunt or Bill Paxton that we can turn into you. So that'll be exciting. Wait. But on Instagram, we do that every week. So
we need a picture of the back of your head, and then we'll just have Bill Paxton's ass and like the back of your head. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mandy's part of the creative team now. All this.
She is the creative team.
There you go.
I would have a weird lesbian moment for that for me. Like if I would be like, oh, look at her ass.
Yeah, it's either that or Philip Seymour Hoffman flipping over a chair. So
lifting his leg.
Yeah, there we go.
Either or.
Yeah, for sure. Follow us on the Instagram for that stuff, and otherwise, just support the people who we did our little ads for earlier, and all of the places that Johanna mentioned in her plug section. And otherwise, I usually play a clip at the end of this, and I have run out of clips. We've done all of the clips, so let me just pick one
this
of
was
these
amazing
randomly, and we don't have a way to end this, so I just play a clip to get us out at the end. So here it is.
You're upset. You just gotta breathe. You gotta breathe.
Sure. Wait for it.
Yeah.
There we go. That'll work. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, and come back and listen to another episode. Thanks. Bye-bye.
For sure. Bye.